Hey everyone, I'm Sam Koster, co-creative director of Crashlands 2, and today we are launching Update 1.3, The Overflow. Now here's the thing. We saw that some people wanted more bosses in Crashlands 2, so we started sketching, but then things got a little bit out of hand, and bing bada boom, we kinda added a whole bunch of everything. So, without further ado, let's dive in and see what this update's all about. Sometimes when you're playing a game, you just want to get punched in the mouth. But you don't want to have to get punched in the mouth, you want to do it on your terms. That's where side bosses come in. Optional quest lines that lead to epic showdowns with powerful beings like this eye-nippled monstrosity. Update 1.3 adds 5 new side bosses, which means there's 5 more ways for you to get absolutely wrecked. Now I can already hear some of you saying, "But sir, can I have some more?" Well, yes, little Timmy, you can. Strange creatures mutated by the disrupted energy of the planet have appeared. These mini-bosses are overflowing with power and they'll humble you real quick. Heck, I've died to these so many times that I have become the humblest person. Like, #1 in humbleness. I cannot be out-humbled. All those new bosses and strange creatures drop juice shards, which you can now use to reforge your equipment to get exactly the stats that you want. That means if you're out there getting wrecked, you definitely can't blame RN Jesus anymore. That's on you, bub. It's time to get good. We also added more than 40 new combat items, rounding out existing sets and expanding your choice of playstyles with 2 more. For our pet enthusiasts, we've added a playstyle called the Beastmaster. This transforms your cuddly best boy into a feral and rabid force of nature. The Beastmaster set comes with a variety of new gadgets and trinkets, such as the spiked collar, thunder vest, water bowl, and squeaky ball. Plus a spray bottle of pheromones that is definitely not pee. But if you're too cool to let your pet do all the work, don't worry. The new Frostbiter set is for you. Use your Frost Scepter to become a mid-range snowball-flinging powerhouse that makes your enemies shiver in their snow boots. The Frostbiter set comes with all sorts of cool toys, like the Blizzard Bottle, Frost Slippers, and Coldy Spin Popper. Update 1.3 also brings fancy versions of all the game's buildings, letting you make the mansion of your dreams. We have packed so many things in this update that my team told me I am absolutely not to read a list of all of them, because it will make you fall asleep. But I know an opportunity when I see one, so here's a little bit of ASMR to help you babies go night-night. Squeaky ball, pheromone spray, water bowl, adrenal gland, clicker, thunder vest, spiked collar, short leash, Tuscan crook, Fanta cane, bumble wrangler, bony crook, yeet gourd cane, electro crook, yo cane, biosteel crook, mask of speed, fat pad pretzel, Bernie lid flipper, air fryer, nimbus, snow cone, blizzard bottle, tuning fork, cool shades, frost slipper, long johns, superconductor, scroll of freezing, big hoops, ice beak, quill chiller, chitinous freezer, cryomeg wand, frigid bomb stick, entropic flopper, frosted grav wand, cuticle cooler, chill core wand, biosteel scepter, beals of briar, dirty whetstone, tiny net launcher, fancy grumble door, fancy grumble pillar, fancy grumble climber, fancy grumble stepper, fancy grumble wall, fancy grumble window, fancy grumble dog, fancy grumble fence, fancy grumble boulderway, fancy grumble brickway, fancy grumble tiles, fancy pop pedal door, fancy pop cork pillar, fancy pop wall V, fancy smooth pop wall, fancy windowed pop wall, fancy pop cork dock, fancy pop park blanks, fancy pop park parquet, fancy 10-drum door, fancy 10-drum pillar, fancy 10-drum sunwall, fancy 10-drumic dog, fancy 10-drumic fence, fancy trellis floor, fancy thatched door, fancy thatched pillar, fancy thatched wall, fancy thatched window, fancy thatched dock, fancy thatched fence, fancy griffin, fancy diamond floor, fancy thatched floor, Rubus totems, duty, watcher, stillness, wings, duo wings, crown, spurs, eye jar. There's probably more, but I'm gonna go to bed. I'll let you guys go.